One of the biggest issues that people are telling me they're running into is the price is too high. Now, the price is too high. The reason why this happens is because in automotive sales, or in sales in general, but since we're in automotive, let's talk automotive. In automotive sales, it is the refusal of the sales professionals or the sales consultants to accept the reality, which is price will always be on every customer's mind. Price will always be on every customer's mind. But our responsibility as sales professionals is for us to help influence whether our customers feel that the price asked for the vehicle being purchased, that it is a fair deal, and that the benefits, the usage, the gains that they'll get out of ownership of this vehicle far outweighs the price being asked. Or we influence our customers to feel that the price that we are trying to sell them this vehicle for, that is not worth it to them. They don't see the value in it. They don't want to see it at that price. As a matter of fact, they think it should be discounted even more. So it is our responsibility to influence that. You know, you have to think about something. If a person took time out of their day to come in, spend an hour or 2 hours with you, going back and forth, and they leave out, and we truly believe that they left out because they just didn't want to buy anything, that's shame on us. Because I think a lot higher of human beings than that. And I believe people know how to be where they want to be when they want to be there. And so every second that they're spending sitting there, they're trying to help them come up with a reason to do this, to buy this. And so the price is too high is nothing more than another obstacle that people put in front of their way to say, oh my goodness, I know I want to, but I got to try to give myself every reason that I can why I shouldn't. And as sales professionals, it's up to us as the experts to help them realize it's okay. It's all right. You know, let's do it. And let's get another thing clear so when we can move on. When I hear a salesperson say, I just wouldn't feel right, putting somebody in something that, they just couldn't afford. Since when? And see, this is why there's so many broke people in the world that are truly unhappy. Nobody can tell me that not having any money, that they're just super duper happy because their morals are just so high. Now, I'm not saying that we should live a moralist life at all. But what I'm saying is not having any money and struggling, nobody can tell me that you're just walking around positive all day. So here's what I mean when I interject that is because when we say, I just wouldn't feel right, putting them in something, we didn't put them in anything. You don't pull a gun out. You don't pull a knife out. We don't force these people to authorize these agreements to say, yes, I'll take it. I feel like I can afford to pay $800 a month. Since when do we become the parents of adults that are coming in just asking us for help of them buying a vehicle? That's ludicrous to me. So if you're somebody that says that, how can you possibly put somebody in something that they don't believe they themselves can afford? Now, if you're being honest and upfront and this individual makes a decision, that's their decision. You should applaud yourself for being someone that was skilled enough to help this person go down the pathway. Because I tell you right now, these mortgage companies, they don't call people and say, hey, listen, you know what? I don't feel like you can afford this $1,200 payment on it. No, listen, you want it? You authorize it? Okay, now understand, you are going to be obligated to make this payment. That's the only thing we could do. But to deprive somebody of their right, their God-given right, or whatever being's right you want to, use to discuss this, their right to make a decision for themselves, I believe that's wrong. So if you have some type of a remorse or something like that about selling or, there being money in the deals that you do, listen, get out of sales, period. Because this is not a non-for-profit business. If you're just in it to help people and that's just your commitment, there are a lot of places that people can volunteer. But in this, you got to be keyed in. So let's lock back into it. So the price is too high. Now, one of the things that you have to do in your sales process, you have to be on the offensive. Anytime a salesperson is on the defensive, they're potentially losing. Now, for years, they've trained about overcoming objections. So we wait until the end. We try not to discuss certain things. For years, they've talked about, don't discuss this, don't talk about that, don't talk about that, as if the consumers are so stupid that they're not going to be thinking about this in their mind or noticing that the salesperson is trying to hide all this information. And it's like when somebody's trying to hook a friend up on a blind date and they says, oh, you're really like my friend. They're great with kids. They love their parents. They have a great job. They know how to cook. They're an awesome artist. They really love poetry, this, that, and the other. After a couple more descriptions, you're sitting there saying, oh, my goodness. He probably looks like a werewolf, or I can't imagine what she probably looks like. Why? Because all of the buildup, when really I came in here to find out one thing. How much is it, and what will it take for me to be able to have one? All right. So the quicker and the more effective and efficient we can get a person there without violating them or offending them, their intelligence, the better it is for us. So by ignoring and evading this stuff and waiting to the end and the person brings up prices and objection, now we're having to explain. And when a salesperson is explaining, guess what they're doing? They're losing. So being on the offensive, knowing that price is something that is going to be on everybody's mind. Start thinking in ways that you can bring up an objection. I call it handling objection. When you bring it up, guess what? You control it, you own it. And when you control it, you own it. Now you can educate. You can inform them about what's going on with it. And then later on, if the objection still comes up, now you have a point of reference to a moment in time where you all began a discussion on something. And now here's your opportunity to fully educate them on the benefits of it for them. And let me give you an example. Now, knowing that price is an objection on the mind of most people, okay, and knowing that we also, we want to find out where a person wants to be on their monthly payment. What about if you were talking to a person when you're going through and you're qualifying them and you say something like this? Now, John, a lot of our customers, they did tell me that when they came in, that they initially had a specific monthly payment in mind that they were hoping to be around. But when they ended up driving off in their new vehicle, they ended up spending a little bit extra a month because they saw a whole lot more in real cost savings in the ownership of this vehicle. Okay? Or that sucked. So, John, a lot of my customers, they did tell me that when they initially came in, they had a monthly payment in mind that they were hoping to be around. But when they ended up driving off in their new vehicle, they did end up spending a little bit extra than they expected, because the vehicle that they drove off in and bought them far more in real cost savings and in value than they expected. So what type of monthly payment are you hoping to keep yourself around? Now, by bringing that up, think about what we just did. We just let them know, hey, listen, a lot of my customers told me that when they first came in, they had a monthly payment in mind, a specific monthly payment in mind. But when they drove off in their new vehicles, they ended up spending a little bit more than they expected, because the vehicle that they drove home in bought them far more in real cost savings and in value than they expected. So what type of monthly payment are you hoping to stay around? Now, think about what we just did. We just let them know, hey, listen, how others have felt. You know what I mean? They wanted to keep theirs in a specific way. But when they drove home in their new vehicles, they ended up spending a little bit more than they expected, because the vehicle that they drove out in, ended up bringing them far more in real cost savings and in value than they expected. So what type of monthly payment, are you hoping to stay around? And when we do that and they tell us, okay, well, $500. All right, up to what? Okay. Now they give us that amount. And we go ahead and we go through. Now, by just planting that seed and we go through and we roll through our presentation and we do we go through the rest of our Q&A and our building some rapport, and we get with the management, pick out a vehicle, we do the presentation on it, go for a demo, we come back in, we present the numbers. Now, does that mean that they will not bring up price later on? Absolutely not. 9 times out, I'm telling you now, anticipate that they're going to bring it up. We just wanted to bring it up a little early, kind of plant a little seed, because now when we present the numbers and they say, well, hey, listen, Brian, that price is higher than I expected. You know what, John, I totally understand where you're coming from. As a matter of fact, you remember earlier when we were talking, and I was sharing with you how a lot of my customers told me that when they initially came in, that they had a monthly payment in mind that they wanted to stay around. But when they drove off, they ended up spending a little bit more than they expected, because the vehicle that they drove off in, brought them far more in real cost savings and in value than they expected. So, John, let me ask you this. If you can see the real cost savings, real money cost savings in value, as much as, if not more, than the other people who have come in a similar situation and drove home in this same exact vehicle. If you can see that, if I can show that to you, are you at least willing to give me a few minutes of your time to at least learn more about what it is that you get? Now, think about what I just did. Now, what is he going to say? No, screw that. Don't tell me about what else I get. Of course not. Greed, as far as with human beings, is a huge motivator. You know what they're going to say? Absolutely. Show it to me. Yeah, absolutely. Now, we just got them to say yes. That's another positive affirmation from them. They also just gave us permission to go into our sub presentation, which you should always be prepared for by anticipating that price is going to come up. We planted the seed early. We rolled through the process. Know it's going to come up. Be prepared. Now, what is it that we roll into at that point? At that point, this is where we roll directly into our warranty package. Now, your managers probably already know this, or maybe they don't. I'm sure that many of them will be shocked at just how good some of you know your warranty packages. And the positive thing is that for those who didn't know it very well, if you've been closing deals and you weren't very knowledgeable of it, sky is only the limit for you, my friend. So let's think about that. Now, when we're talking about these warranties, okay, this is our opportunity where we could possibly not have to drop price when dealing with this person. We may be able to build enough value where that extra 20 bucks a month they trying to save, or $25 or $50 or $100, it just might, or $1,000 or $2,000 on total overall cost. If we can negate or reduce that, if we can do that, imagine what type of real value that builds. And this is where it goes into the warranty, my friend. Now, let's think about it, at your particular store. When most salespeople, and I am all over the U.S., and as unfortunate as this sounds, even in the U.K., over in those parts, you know what? They do the same thing. When you ask most salespeople, hey, what warranty comes on this 2018, yada, yada, yada. They'll say, well, 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper, 5-year, 60,000 mile powertrain. Yep, there you go. That's it. And that's where they stop. And if you ask them, hey, can you explain that to me in detail? They'll begin sweating real bad. They'll begin stuttering, and they will be unable to do it. As a matter of fact, hey, listen, GSM, you and I have spoken. And hey, listen, today might be the day that once I get done with this video, ask somebody, just pick somebody out and ask them to really explain to you what the warranty packages is, and you may be blown away. And like, again, as a salesperson, if you know you've been struggling at this part and you've been closing deals, you need to be ecstatic, because now you're about to bust it wide open. Because if you don't know what's in the warranty package, do we really expect our customers are going to go home and open up that doggone manual and read it? If people who make a living and provide for their families don't read it, this is what we do to take care of our families, and we don't read it. Do you think a customer that's using it for recreation or for whatever use they are going to read it? Absolutely not. And I will tell you, by doing this part alone, you put yourself on another tier of a sales professional. And it is something that you only have to master once, because it comes on almost every new vehicle that you sell. Okay. Now, I know that warranties range and they vary and they go in different ways, but let's think about this. Okay. I'm just going to use 3-year, 36,000 mile for basic limited, 5-year, 60,000 mile for powertrain. And everything else would be fairly standard. So, the customer gives us permission to explain to them, to show them the real cost savings and the real value that other people have gotten and how they may be able to get it. So it's like, and listen, now, John, I know outside I touched on some of these things fairly briefly, but let me really go into what it is that you get with your 2018 Chrysler 300. Okay. For the next 3 years or 36,000 miles, you receive the basic limited warranty. Now, what that means, John, is that for the next 3 years or 36,000 miles, if anything in that vehicle, outside that vehicle, that's the rear dash cam, that's the power windows, that's anything under the hood, if that's everything with the exception of the tires, if anything goes defective, you call me, you text me, or you email me, I'm going to get that vehicle into one of our dealerships, and we're going to take care of all of the labor and all of the parts that it takes to get your vehicle back up and on the road for you, okay? You don't have to worry about any of that. You reach out to me and we get it done. Now, also with that, for an additional 2 years and 24,000 miles, or should I say for 5 years, 60,000 miles, you're covered under the powertrain warranty. Now, here's what our customers really like about that, is that for the next 5 years or 60,000 miles, if your engine, and that is the block, the heads, the gaskets, that is all the internal lubricating parts within that engine, the water pump, the oil pump, if any of those go out on this engine, you call me, you text me, or you email me, and I'll get that vehicle in here, and we're going to get that vehicle fixed and back up on the road for you without you coming out of pocket at all. And you know how expensive it can be to get an engine repaired or replaced in today's climate. So luckily for you, for the next 5 years or 60,000 miles, you don't have to worry about that because yours is covered. But also, for the next 3 years, your vehicle is covered under our corrosion limited warranty. And what that means is that if any of your internal sheet metal has any of the natural type of wear and tear from sand, from mud, from debris, from gravel, from any of the typical type of road causes, any of the internal sheet metal that goes bad, begins to wear or corrode, you call me, you email me, we'll get that vehicle in here and we're going to get that taken care of for you. Also, any external sheet metal that may have some of the paint, some of the finish on it, for the next 3 years, you don't have to worry about getting any of that touched up and done. We're going to get that taken care of for you, and that's covered under the corrosion warranty. Now, one of the things that really separates our vehicles from any other Chryslers is the fact that we truly understand that one of the things that helps a vehicle maintain its value is how good it looks. And typically one of the first things to go is the paint and the finish on a vehicle, and it begins to look dull, and that smiley face on the front grille tends to turn to a frown. So for the next 3 years, what you receive with your vehicle is our perma plate protection plan. Okay, that means that your vehicle is covered. So if you're out at Walmart, and somebody lets their car go and scratches your car, if a squirrel decides to tap dance on your hood with the most sharpest claws it could find, if a bird, if sap or love bugs decide to get in under your paint job and has it start to looking dull or be affected, you don't have to worry about looking up a body shop, doing any pricing on paint jobs or any of that. All you have to do is take your phone out and shoot me a text, give me a phone call, and with your perma plate protection, we're going to get your vehicle shined, primed, buffed, and always make sure that your vehicle has the showroom new look and feel to it. And that's one of the benefits that you get with our perma plate protection. Okay. Now I want y'all to think about something. Now, as I'm going through these warranties, okay, these are warranties that every single store offers to their customers. It comes with it, but the people don't know. And this is why when deals go into finance and they fall apart, here's what happens. Remember, we're the non-trustworthy snake oil salesman that's always trying to take advantage of people. So if we don't tell them what they get, we say, yeah, 3 year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper, which is a lie because the bumpers are not covered. So that's incorrect also. But if that's all we say, then they walk in there with the business manager, which people still call the finance manager. I don't know why, but business manager. Business has much more of a non-negative term than finance as far as on intimidating the person walking in there to deal with the finance manager who's going to bring up all of these beautiful extended warranty options. And now the person feels scammed because why the hell would I want to extend something when I don't even know what I get with it in the first place? As a matter of fact, I'm out of here. Permaplate. What? That's an extra $900 or $500. Why the hell am I paying that? I don't even know what the hell that is. Now the business manager has to say, oh, really? Oh, they didn't tell you about it? Oh, well, let me tell you. Now, again, they're backpedaling. They're backpedaling. If we spend all the time with these people, the more control we have up front, the more thorough we are on our explanations with these people, the far more beneficial it would be for them, you, and everybody involved. So let's be straight up and down. I really do issue this challenge to everyone to make March the best month that you've ever had. Every month we should be striving to just be a little bit better. Maybe we greeting people better. Maybe we qualifying a little better. We doing walk-arounds a little bit better. We converting a little bit better. The follow-up is a little bit better. The social media game is a little bit better. It's baby steps, y'all. It's baby steps. And it's doing things like listening to this stuff right here that makes us get better. But, man, I challenge you. If you taking care of yourself and your family, and you know that you and these products, you know what I'm saying, are what it takes for you to, that really bridges the gap between you being on the street and you being able to put prime rib on your table, and you do and you're not doing everything you can to equip yourself as best as possible to be as laser targeted on every opportunity you get, then we don't have any right to complain. We have no right to complain about our finances if we are unwilling to invest that time in ourselves to just at least learn what our people get, so we can at least tell them what they get. If we're truly customer focused, we'll be doing everything we can to keep them as informed as possible. All right. So this week it's all about the payments being too high. Listen, we know that the price being too high. We know that that's something that's going to come up. Be prepared. Don't be shocked. But start thinking about it. Start going through it. How can we discuss that a little bit earlier? You know what I'm saying? When we're going into finding out where they want to be. And then how can we be prepared so that when they say it, boom, it's not a shocker. It doesn't have us backpedaling, stumbling. We were already prepared for it. And then this is where we roll into the warranty packages. This is where we roll into what they get with it. This is where we really get a chance to show them what separates us from everybody else. Remember what our mamas used to say, it's not what you say, but how you say it. Delivery is everything. So give it to them with as much power, passion, and purpose as you possibly can. And you watch the profits start coming in. All right. But other than that, y'all, hey, go get them this week. I'm going to have some other ones coming out again. I'm going to do my best to shorten them. But the other ones I'll send out, they'll be more personal, 3 to 5 minutes. But go get them, y'all. Bust ass and end this month strong and start the next one even stronger. Have a good day. Yo.